Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So today we're going to be going over another round of VTuber related drama, all of it stemming from a previous situation we covered the other day involving this VTuber Cha-Cha, who's a pretty popular indie VTuber who got into a lot of trouble with the usual suspects on Twitter after she made a joke about ice. So we're going to see a response from her and also some continued crash outs of other VTubers regarding her joke, and also other VTubers crashing out over a VTuber's choice to get a ice-inspired outfit for her model. So let's get some refresher for context here. Cha-Cha is asked by a viewer where her friend Fillion has been because she hasn't streamed much recently, and Cha-Cha makes a joke saying Fillion has been deported by ICE. It was very obviously a joke between two friends. However, people on Twitter, including a lot of VTubers, use this as an opportunity to dogpile her and to virtue signal, and in some cases try to offer themselves as a replacement of Cha-Cha. It was absolutely unhinged, and we're not even getting into the threats and other things we talked about in the previous video. Now, in situations like this, I always get nervous because you don't want to see someone bend the knee to these psychopaths online. And Cha-Cha has formally addressed this situation in her quote-unquote cancellation, and she did not apologize.
We talked about your Twitter cancellation? Okay. I knew I had to talk about it at some point. I guess we'll talk about it a little bit. Just a little bit. Emerald, my mods are like, what are you doing, Cha-Cha? What are you doing? Ignore the haters. Okay. First and foremost, I'm not making an apology to Twitter. That's why you're here, and you're wondering, why has Cha-Cha not made a statement on Twitter? Why do I need to make a statement? For what? Alana showed no one is actually mad, none of your viewers, just the Twitter freaks. Nobody that is mad on Twitter watches my streams. If you watched my streams, you'd understand my humor. The elephant in the room meme that's going around, address the elephant in the room. Nah, I've got things to do, man.
Unfathomably based. That is how you handle situations like this. You do not apologize because, as she said, she didn't make a mistake. There was nothing to apologize for. She made a joke and people went absolutely ballistic. Their responses were completely disproportionate to anything remotely close to what she did. And on top of that, whenever you apologize to these people, it's never enough. They want more and more and more, and they'll never forgive you anyways. They'll be mad about it forever. The people who did this, as she pointed out, aren't even her viewers. If these people were familiar with her content, they would not have been surprised by the type of joke that she made. But now, we're going to be seeing some further crash outs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is one of the stars of the show, this LewTuber named Sussy Sonia, who is very upset about not only Cha-Cha, but a VTuber named Celestium, as we'll see in just a second. But she had something to say regarding Cha-Cha and the related post, saying, another example of a waste of space, making jokes about ice. I'm going to start unfollowing everyone who tolerates this and continues supporting people like this. People being ripped away from their homes unlawfully, being ended and deported for no reason is not funny. You can see the hyperbolic and hysterical framing they're using of this situation, acting like Americans legally here are being rounded up in the dozens and hundreds and ended and deported by ICE, when that is not the situation. This person is intentionally doing that to make the whole thing look worse than it is. But also you can see this little example here of them saying they're going to start unfollowing people, follow policing people who tolerate this, which, by the way, this is a joke we're talking about. And this person's so confident in their opinion that they locked the replies. This person wants an echo chamber. And they would continue on saying, call me woke, call me a virtue signaler, call me unfun. I really don't care. This stuff isn't funny. Real people are being hurt, and you sit on your little privileged pillow and make jokes on the internet because it doesn't affect you. Grow up. I mean, that is interesting. Yes, in fact, I will call you woke. I will call you a virtue signaler. And I will call you unfunny. I will do all of those things. Congratulations, because that's the way you're acting over a simple joke. On top of that, you talk about people sitting on a privilege pillow. I believe this person is also an American, and they are a Vtuber on Twitch. Like, you are also very privileged, okay? It's very ironic hearing people talk like this. This person down here points out something. So I guess a Latina isn't even allowed to make jokes about ICE. Yeah, because Cha-Cha is Hispanic. And people, as we saw in the previous video, were basically removing her Hispanic, her ability to call herself Hispanic. They were saying basically, you are not actually Hispanic anymore because you made a joke about ICE. Some people even called her white passing Latina. Like, crazy stuff. Like, literally trying to create like a power scaling of skin color and ethnicity. Crazy stuff. But anyways, Sonia responds by saying she is Puerto Rican. She wouldn't be laughing if they revoked the Jones-Shafroth Act and came for her next. But go off, I guess. Well, I'm sorry this person's not responding to the scenario you literally created in your head that has not happened yet. And also, you seem way too excited about the possibility of this happening. It seems like you want this to happen because Cha-Cha made a joke you didn't like. But now, enter another individual into the Thunderdome of today's video. Celestium, a VTuber I enjoy, and she is an open Christian, so you know she's used to being dogpiled all the time by these incredibly woke, quote-unquote progressive people on Twitter. Now, she made a post in response to everything going on with the outrage involving Cha-Cha's post. She said this: "That's it, I'm getting an ICE-inspired outfit for my VTuber. I'm so tired of the horrendous takes from these leftist/liberal VTubers. La Enemigra coming to a stream near you. Let's bring her to life." How was my Spanish, guys? How was that high school Spanish? Was it bueno? Let me know. But here is the actual campaign through Throne trying to fund this outfit idea. So if you want to support that, go ahead and do that. But who is most affected by this outfit? Of course, it is Sonia. Very upset about this. Posting a screenshot instead of actually quoting Celestium's post because they don't want to have a direct confrontation. They say, "Y'all are so desperate to be noticed that you will do any dumb stuff you can think of." So they're basically saying people like Celestium are desperate for attention and will do anything to get people's attention. Literally, the exact post before this, their previous post, was this. Yeah, they're a Vtuber. Like, you're angry about Celestium wanting this outfit and you believe it's for attention, but your outfit tries the same thing. In fact, you do less of an outfit to try to get attention. Like, absolutely insane hypocrisy. But they continue on saying, "Had some mutuals following this waste of space." Wow. She loves this phrase, waste of space. So if I unfollow you, that's probably why. Oh boy, here we go again with the follow police. There is nothing lamer than follow policing someone. Saying, "I'm going to break my mutual with you because you follow someone I think is problematic." It's so lame. It's obnoxious. Nobody likes someone who does this. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, imagine also the fact that maybe people aren't online. Like, maybe they didn't see anything happening or they weren't on Twitter the last couple of days and now you're punishing them for not acting on your sensitivities. Absolutely crazy stuff. But, of course, Sonia's community has a solution. One of these could solve the problem, just saying, with Spider-Man punching Celestium's VTuber model in the mouth. And I'm gonna, for the sake of YouTube, say it's actually Spider-Man feeding her ketchup. Yes, let's just be safe. But Celestium says, "Spider-Man hurting minorities wasn't on my bingo card." Yeah, interesting how the progressive people are not only trying to exact violence, but against minorities they're claiming to protect with their virtue signaling. Very amazing stuff. And as always, you are an absolute dork if you have to use fictional characters and basically try to make it so they agree with your political opinions or your current opinion. Like, oh, don't worry, Spider-Man would believe the same things I do and would be very angry at your ice outfit. Like, please with that stuff. And on top of that, the Sonya person is sharing this pie chart saying going to need any of you bootlickers to do literally any amount of research outside of your grifting influencers. Whoa. We got the buzzword, grifting. Can't believe it. Would have never have thought a virtue signaler slop account like this would be using the term grifting to describe everyone they don't like. But they say, look at the research outside these grifting influencers before you come talking to me. Defending ICE only proves how the government's plan to keep you uneducated and submissive is working. And first of all, they say, do research before you talk to me, and then they once again lock the reply so you cannot come back to them and talk. But they share this pie chart that doesn't even prove anything that they wanted to, and it's incredibly misleading, saying that 73% of current detainees have no criminal convictions. Well, unfortunately, if you are here illegally, you are guilty of a crime. You have committed a crime. This chart uses this in a very manipulative way. They say the only way you've had a conviction is if you're actually convicted. They're not saying people are here illegally or have committed crimes. They're just people who have criminal convictions. So the people who are awaiting trial or have pending charges, they're not included in this. And any person who's here undocumented is here illegally. But whether or not they've actually been convicted of that is not included in this chart. So they treat them basically as they're innocent people. Even though if they are here illegally, they have committed a crime. They're just not convicted yet in some cases. But anyways, they woke up the next day after having this meltdown, and the first thing on their mind, grifters. The grifters. Good morning to everyone but grifters. I hope you have an excellent day. Me personally, I am still sick. Well, I hope you feel better, but can you please tell me what a grifter is? You seem to like this term a lot, and you're directing it at people. What is a grifter to you? Because it's probably people I don't like. I talk about this all the time. A grifter is someone who shares beliefs they don't actually believe for monetary gain. How, and I'm sure you're going to call me a grifter, how are people like me or Celestium or any of these people, how are they grifters? How do you know we don't believe what we say online? Like, what is your proof of that? Other than the fact it's just different opinions. In fact, as I've always said, it'd be a lot easier if I didn't have my opinions, if I wanted less tension and controversy. But these are the things I believe, and I'm not afraid to share it. So please enlighten us, enlighten the class on how you know all this. But let's move on to some more people trying to virtue signal and even take advantage of the controversy involving Cha-Cha for their own personal gain. All while virtue signaling, of course. This person says, don't worry, Pookies. I'll be your new Latina mommy. I'm a certified Latina. I don't have kids in real life, but if you're reading this, I've adopted you. You're welcome. And then they say, oh, this post makes the weirdos really sensitive. Limiting this post and muting. Amazing. Yeah, once again, very confident until it comes to people disagreeing, and then they immediately lock the replies. But up here, very interesting. Number one, they say they're a certified Latina. Are you implying that someone like Cha-Cha is not certified? Are you revoking her Latina card, if you will? Interesting. But they also try this tactic of saying, I am now the market replacement for Cha-Cha. Please come follow me. What would make you ever think, how is this person trying to do this? Why would they ever do this? Oh, because they have a minute fraction of the following someone like Cha-Cha has. So they're literally trying to take their place. Good luck. I'm pretty sure when all is said and done here, Cha-Cha has gained a lot of new followers, and people who do this gain absolutely nothing. but some brownie points from people who aren't even going to consume their content anyways. And on top of that, let's go a step further. This sort of tactic has been done before, as pointed out here by Kuririnji. The last person who tried this grave dancing strategy completely obliterated her career when she thought dropping her model will make people watch her for her personality. Unfortunately for her, she had no personality. So he's talking about this Aurora Maki individual. We have talked about her before. She dropped her VTuber model and thought everyone liked her political opinions because she was the, person who mentioned the current thing, the modern thing, any chance she got. And you can see, she plummeted down to 17 average viewers this past December. The same person who, by the way, tried to justify people being doxxed and harassed for playing or streaming Hogwarts Legacy. The justification, in her mind, trans kids go through a bunch of bad stuff. So it's okay to be doxxed and harassed for playing Hogwarts Legacy. Incredible levels of virtue signaling and weird statements up here as well. But here's another one. This one kind of took me aback. We're not going to read this. Okay, I'm not going to read this. Okay, mucho texto. But I'm going to read the ratio, the comment that ratioed this, despite eventually the replies being locked. You assuming that every Latino living in the United States is there illegally and therefore should be against ICE is pretty stupid. Yep, good point. Ratio achieved. Here's another one saying the person that joked about ICE is friends with the person that joked about George Floyd, referring to Fillion. I don't understand why you still platform people after they've shown you their true colors. If they do something disgusting, stop watching and engaging with them. It's why they keep doing it. Now, it's kind of already a hypocritical self-own in this text, but this person also points out that they previously said, no press is bad press, is why you need to stop giving any press attention engagement to bad people. Well, here they are, giving bad press attention. Bad press in their mind, of course. And, oh, look at that. Replies locked. Once again. Unbelievable. Here's one last one for this video. This person saying, in quotes, don't be political if you want to grow as a VTuber, end quote. My bad for wanting a community of critical thinkers. Oh boy, you have to have a very high IQ to understand the subtle nuances of Rick and Morty. Wubba lubba dub dub. Am I right, dude? Yeah, you gotta be kidding me. Like, we see so much of this too, where people are like, I don't care what happens to my audience. I don't care how big it is. I'm gonna create this awesome community of whatever. Like, it's such cope. At the end of the day, this was some of the greatest content to farm in a bit. Shout out to the VTubers, the virtue signalers, who are just laying this stuff out on a platter and helping boost the audiences of people like Cha-Cha, because that's right. At the end of the day, her audience is going to grow from this. Very clearly. Okay, but all these virtue signaling vultures out there trying to pick apart her for their own gain, ultimately, they're going to get nothing out of this. In fact, all they probably did was alienate portions of their current or potential audiences by saying this slop that they might not even believe in anyways. They just think that's what you're supposed to do as a VTuber. Well, they got their news from the wrong place. They believe what Twitter and VTubers there say is what viewers actually want, when that's not the case. They want to be entertained. They don't want to be lectured. That's it. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.